Hey everybody, Jason Burmis here, and Spot, the Boston Dynamics robot. Remember the subdivision of DARPA, MIT research, government, universities, and corporations coming together. A lot of people would call that fascism. A lot of people might even call it the modern day military industrial complex. But no matter what you can call it, it is the sound of an automation nation's beginning. And really not even the first level. If you look at things like the devices they use to move things around large facilities and Amazon and other distribution centers like Walmart, we already have a lot of these robots that are taking away traditional jobs that our fathers and grandfathers may have worked 40 to 60 hours a week for 20 to 25 years and gotten benefits and a pension for, where this will lay a ton of these people off. And before we get into the launch of this, the realities of what it can do, who's going to have access to it, and where it's going to be pushed, I really want to talk about how this also goes right into the push for a universal basic income, right? Yang, at this point, Tulsi Gabbard is making her return, but at this point, he was one of the top speakers up there. Even with limited amounts of time, he sounded more modern, and he has a base just alone that is brainwashed into thinking by giving everyone a certain amount of money that will be spent into the economy, it's positive no matter what, even if there's mass inflation when that happens, because it will devalue money. A lot of people want that $12,000 a year. And in a sense, to me, instead of using human ingenuity, seeking answers through our own intellect and our own human spirit to move forward and educate people in a new way, in a quicker way, in different fields that we're not focusing on right now, rather than just give up and take $12,000 a year. Just my thoughts. So, what I want to talk about is Spot and the launch. So, first of all, we're going to come back, but if you go to bostondynamics.com /spot. This week, they gave a couple of different presentations and videos that came out. We're going to focus on this launch one in a moment. I mean, it's the man in the hard hat. We're working side by side with robots in a moment and get into really this page and technically everything it's about. But first, I'm not going to play the audio in the background, but look at the push this week, right? Right now, it's don't believe me, just watch. He dances to the music. The robot likes Bruno Mars. Look, it's twerking. It's robot twerk time. There he is. Oh, all right. Yeah. I mean, let's get real here. That thing takes you by the throat. It's over. That thing, just that thing. First generation stuff. I know a lot of you saw this video here, where it was opening doors for one another with that sub attachment on the top that's not on this one right here. You see that? So this is what we're going to be working with. And earlier in the week, I did a parkour atlas video, not from this one, which is scary enough, but from a separate video. So take a look. Now, first of all, we don't know exactly how much money each of these are going to cost. Let me just pause this right here. They're saying that it's going to be around the price of a car, but you can't just get one, right? This is first generation stuff. And I guess I'll talk while we watch the launch video here. And it's got, hit music and stuff, and this is the animation, and this is the big sale to all these large corporations for, hey, by the way, we'll sell you one of these, but you need to apply to us. I'd love to see what one of these applications looks like, because there's a dev kit with it. All right. Obviously, these things are going to have a ton of bugs, right? So you're actually going to be able to program and sub-program them. And let me pause it for a second as it's going down the stairs and it's going to meet up with another one. And they're all going to interact. This Boston Dynamics spot is leaving the laboratory article. It's pretty extensive and explains that they're saying, well, we don't want it to be used against humans in any way, even in a simulated manner. Remember, we talked about the Uptown Funk routine. So somehow they're trying to build in that there's no way they could even simulate this thing for some kind of warfare or harm to humans. But let's be honest, just the abilities it has is going to be detrimental to the economic prowess of many of the people out there, not only in this country but around the world. Think about when this automation really takes hold. It's not that far away. That's one thing that Yang is very, very spot on about. So let's go back here, and again, this is the big push right now. It's happening right now. You don't think that the Jeff Bezoses of the world, the Elon Musks of the world, they're not licking their chops? The Richard Bransons, the Koch brothers, these are going to be, if you read these articles, where do you think they're going to be? They're going to be on large construction sites. They're going to be in oil fields, right? They're going to be in big factories. And, a cinder block, listen, these things they're going to be rugged and durable. And for what you pay for them, I'm sure they're going to be the price of, they say the price of a new car, so what are we talking? Low end 20 plus thousand, high end 80 plus thousand, 70 plus thousand. That's not out of the realm for these things. But when you think about how much work it can do, 24 hours a day, probably 23, probably takes an hour to charge, right? You got to keep it running. Maybe it doesn't. Maybe it has interchangeable batteries. Literally, maybe it can work close to 24 hours a day. Well, right there, you have 3 8-hour shifts for $70,000. That puts 3 full-time workers out. And by the way, when I say full-time, if you have those 8-hour shifts, and by the way, he's just coming back to the man with a hard hat. You have those 3 8-hour shifts, right? Okay. That's 5 days a week. This bad boy's running 7. Okay. That accounts for another 48 hours. Add another worker on there, plus another 8 of overtime. That's 4 workers it's replaced. At $70K on the high end. Am I trying to make sense to you? You know how much minimum wage in New York is close to $12 an hour. Do the math. How you don't think this is coming upstate New York to a Walmart distribution center near you? You're damn right it is. And I'm not anti-technology, but we certainly haven't prepared the people for it. And most people think that automation is just a dream. Or it's never actually going to occur. We're always going to need more and more people to do things. And human beings, believe me, can still do things that these robots cannot. But it's becoming fewer and fewer and fewer. And with people like Musk pushing the fact that, well, they're going to be superior to us in every single way. And the only way to compete is to join them. Is to become them. It's a Kurzweilian dystopian nightmare, and it's beginning before our eyes. Now, again, this thing behind me, it could be a hammer, right? Help build a house for sure. This thing could literally help build a house. Help make shelter for you and your family. On the other end, the latch right there on the top probably grab you right by the throat, choke the life out of you, and kill you. Bash your head in with a hammer. And I want to get back to the push on this really quickly on the dev kit. I want to make this known. So if you go over here and you scroll down, and it talks about how it can run 90 minutes, but it's a swappable battery. So I guess we've answered that question. So it literally, with enough batteries and rechargers, yeah. Well, Jason, you got to understand, you're going to have to pay for that energy. Yep, it's going to be less than a human being. I guarantee you. I guarantee you it's going to be less than a human being. Has 360 vision, right? Has an IP54 rating. It showed you that in the thing when it's running through the water. Look at the temperatures. So you're talking about all sorts of different areas that this thing's going to be running in. Okay? Customizable. So you can have that payload connection on the top there that I was talking about. Construction, like I said, oil, gas, public safety. Okay? And here's that software dev kit. So let's read this. Add features and capabilities to Spot through its classic gRPC-based API and Python client library. Now, no matter what they tell you of any kind of backdoors they've put in there, things can be hacked. There are always mistakes made because guess what? This technology is made by humans, and humans are fallible. They're never right 100% of the time. That's why gaming systems eventually get hacked. That's why viruses sometimes take hold. That's why Hollywood right now, it's not being talked about. But a lot of the CGI and workstation stuff out there that normally uses Macintosh computers because they're so great and they don't have viruses. Well, guess what? They're locked out. There's big Hollywood companies that are being locked out right now. So I would just say, let's beware. I understand everybody's going to put an application out there. We're probably not going to see this thing driven in mass for another 2 to 4 years. I'd say 5 is too long, but you're going to start seeing. Listen, you work in a factory now. You work in a distribution center now. You work in an oil company now, abroad or otherwise, and you don't see one of these things in the next 2 years, I'd be shocked. This is going to be big business, guys. Get ready. That being said, we're going to be knocking out a bunch of different videos today. Roy Cohn, FBI file out there. A lot of great notifications from you guys, a lot of great tips. I retweet a lot of them, so if you're not following me on Twitter, definitely check me out there. We also simulcast over there. A lot of good information. It doesn't mean I endorse everything that I put out there, or I'm right about everything I put out there, but I am a documentary filmmaker. Loose Change, Final Cut, Fabled Enemies, Invisible Empire, In New World Order Defined, and Shade the Motion Picture, all available for free right here. Just go to the documentary section. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe now. Join the Burmis Brigade. We are doing 3 to 7 videos a day on subjects that matter. So make sure you're thumbing these videos up. You're sharing them with others. The school drill one yesterday, really important video. Please, please, please go look at it. The Epstein Goes to Russia, NXIVM updates. Of course, my interview with Whitney Webb, which is just so superb. If you haven't seen that, please go check that out. Especially go check out the first one that's on the channel, because with Roy Cohn's FBI files out there, I'm sure there's going to be a lot more revelations about him and his contacts. On top of that, guys, I'm doing this with your help. It's through a GoFundMe. There is no Patreon. There is no Subscribestar. I'm not doing private Skype sessions. I don't have a class to give you. I'm not withholding information. I don't have secret sources or bonus material. I'm trying to kick out the jams to as many people as possible. I'm trying to stay on this platform because at this point, let's be honest, YouTube is as big or bigger than television. So let's make it happen, Cap'n, and keep moving forward. We're at 34K. Let's get to 50, 60, 100, and beyond, and get people thinking beyond this left-right paradigm that is so detrimental to society and really only hurting us, the quote-unquote serf class, according to the guys at the top, the predator class that is truly out there. I will see you guys on the flip side, and I love you all.